For the majority of my life, I've shamed myself into evolving, guilted myself into growing, and naturally, to no avail. The only thing that those types of emotions and sensations manifested was more shame and more guilt. And as of lately, I've taken up loving myself back up to the light, loving myself to my true nature by embodying daily practices, rituals, and reminders that allow me to embody my own divinity. Hello y'all, and welcome to my channel. My name is iyaKIN. I am the founder of the non-performative yoga platform Iya, and it's a pleasure to have you here today. Now, I've been on YouTube for quite a bit of time, since 2014. Some of you might have known that. Some of you may just be watching me for the first time. Since being on YouTube, I've dedicated my channel to approachable, non-performative yoga practices to invite folks onto their mats. I've been saying this for some time, that it's time to pivot, and I'm really excited to move into that space today, starting with this new series called Divine Feminine Wisdom. Now, this is a little bit different from the Divine Feminine Yoga series that I have on my channel, which focuses on embodying the 6 archetypes of the Divine Feminine through Hatha-based yoga practices. This new series, the Divine Feminine Wisdom series, is going to be focused on sharing teachings rooted in divine feminine wisdom to help you in your life, in your body, and in your business. I'm looking forward to grounding in this because I've had this knowledge, this wisdom for quite a long time, and I've capped that, and it's time to begin to express and to share it, to support other divine beings in embodying this wisdom into their divine feminine. Now, before we get into today's video, I want to let you know, first and foremost, that I am releasing something in the fall that is incredibly special. It's going to be rooted in divine feminine wisdom and divine feminine order, and I'm actively bringing this into fruition. If you are really committed to doing divine feminine work, then click the link that I have in the description box. Put your email in there to ensure that you are notified as soon as I announce this new workshop. I'm going to keep it under wraps right now, but I want to make sure that you're one of the first to hear about it. You will not miss out. Let's go ahead and get into our video. Today we're going to be talking about why you can't shame yourself into evolving. Before we even get started, if you are already shaming yourself for identifying or resonating with that title, stop. You're not alone in feeling that way. I've caught myself constantly trying to grow and evolve through shame and guilt, which are very low vibrational, low frequency emotions and energies. If you find yourself already shaming yourself, I want you to rewrite that narrative. This is not a negative. This is not something that you need to be ashamed or feel guilty of if you do identify with this title. More so, move away from creating narratives that garner shame and guilt, and just change the narrative to, I'm really proud of myself for being able to resonate with this title, and maybe begin to even expand my vessel all the more by releasing things that I didn't know that I was carrying. Just begin to reframe the narrative. Now, I had a really phenomenal experience recently. Just 1 month ago, I had my first ayahuasca ceremony. Now, if you've watched my vlog that I did in Cabo, where I was attending a trauma-informed leadership summit, I really talked candidly about, am I going to be one of those women out here doing ayahuasca? I never saw myself as that kind of bitch, but you know, I went for it because I realized that I needed additional support to move some of the trauma, some of the density that I'd been working through. And I invited this medicine into my life. And it was really phenomenal in terms of what Mother and Father God revealed to me. And one of the things that was made very clear is that we have to love ourselves back up to the light, or we love ourselves back up to our true nature in order. The earth and all of creation is designed in order. What I mean by that is that if you look at the street signs, if you look at the stop signs, if you look at all of the addresses on houses or the markers to help you know which way to go, or we drive on the right side when we're driving a certain way and we drive on the left side, all of that is order. Creation also has its order. Nature follows order. Everything falls under a divine order. Contrary to how we actually perceive things, we see order as something suffocating and limiting. Things thrive in order. If you look at how creation and nature are in order, look at how things grow, how things seed, how things harvest. There is such a beautiful divine order, and we mimic this order with how things are managed. Sometimes that order is not true divinity. However, we can always look at nature and see true divine order. Contrary to that, our perception can sometimes make us believe that order is stifling, is limiting, and is suffocating. However, when things are not in divine order, that's when that limiting begins. That's when that suffocation begins, or rather, that's when that contraction begins. Things get tighter and smaller when we are not in order. That's very similar to what happens when we shame ourselves, when we guilt ourselves, when we're starting to move outside of our true nature, outside of our order. We're making ourselves smaller, we're contracting, and we're getting smaller. There is no way that we can evolve, grow, and expand outward with shame, guilt, and all these other emotions that create more density, that create more contraction, that cause us to close our hearts. The way that I learned this in the ceremony, or the way that Mother, Father, God revealed this to me, is by showing me the 7 dimensions of heaven, or the 7 levels of heaven. And at the 7th level, I saw all of these incredible divine feminine goddesses with beautiful head wraps from all different regions, from different crowns, all different regions all over the globe. And then they revealed these same divine feminine goddesses to me in the 6th dimension, in the 5th, in the 4th, and in the 3rd dimension, which is the dimension that we currently reside in. And in the 3rd dimension, all of these divine feminine goddesses were working at a strip club. What that showed to me was that the vertical is the same from the highest dimension to the lowest. Rather, what happens, why they look different, why their actions are different, because we start to move out of order and further away from our nature. Now, the clear instruction that I got when I was shown this was to make sure not to judge, and to also love all things back to their true nature, to love myself back to my true nature, where my divinity is crowned, and bring that to this current dimension that I'm occupying. If I continue to grab hold of shame and or guilt when I see myself occupying certain things that are hard for me to see or that I don't like, or when I see something in someone that frightens me or makes me cringe and disgust, or I see something in myself that I don't like, that's unsightly, that makes me cringe and disgust, and I start to shroud myself in shame and guilt, I'm contracting, I'm making myself smaller. There is no way that I can evolve and grow at that frequency, because it has no expansion to it. It does the inverse. It contracts. It makes everything smaller. So when it comes to how do I begin to really love myself to my truest place, to my greatest divinity, the way we do that is by loving ourselves up to our light, through the light, loving ourselves back up to our true nature. So when I see elements of myself that make me so uncomfortable, and I know that I'm not alone in feeling this, I know that we feel this way so much of the time. I'm not meeting that goal, or I'm not getting there, and my life doesn't look like that, and I'm not that small, or I'm not that size, and that person is prettier than me. Why do they keep getting all the jobs and getting all the cool opportunities? Why do they have all the cool girlfriends and feel like they're constantly surrounded by so many cool people? Why is it not me? I feel pathetic. I feel all of these things. That is cultivating more shame and guilt. We want to do the inverse. We want to love ourselves back up to the light, love ourselves back up to our nature, where we're reinstated, sitting at the feet of God, throne by throne. And you want to begin to see that in your vessel, to see that in your body, because it's not outside of you, it's inside of you, and begin to love yourselves back up to your true nature. Love yourself back up to the light. That can look like edification, deeply edifying yourself, deeply edifying those around you. Edify yourself by honoring what your needs are and validating your ability to see them. Validate every single win, no matter how incremental. No, do actions around the house that allow you to feel like I am in my divinity. For example, before I was going to film this video, I did a yoga practice, and I was in my yoga clothes, my relaxed yoga clothes. I didn't have no makeup on, y'all. And I was like, I feel real comfortable right now, and I want to film this video, but I don't really want to like get ready. I didn't feel like I was in my fullness until I got ready, until I put on what I envisioned myself wearing, which was this very comfortable attire, until I put on what I envisioned myself wearing for this video, until I honored my own vision. That's edifying myself back up to my true nature. The foods that I eat edify me back to my true nature. The things that I say, even when I feel those old, shameful, guilt-ridden narratives coming into my thought process, I see them, I watch them, and I let them fall away, and I create a new narrative. Beginning to embody more celebration for yourself, to embody more nourishment for yourself, to embody more adornment for yourself. Move the thoughts away that having you shrink in shame and or guilt. When we shame ourselves and or others into covering themselves, they move away from God's order. That does not draw people to God's order or reinstate them to their true nature. They're going to cover in shame, they're going to cover in guilt, and they're going to cower within themselves. If you find yourself doing this to yourself and or to others, release the guilt and the shame right now. And instead, know that there is a better way. There is a higher way. There is a more effective way. There is a righteous way. And that is to love yourself back up to the light, to love yourself back to your true nature, which is expansive, which is limitless, which is pure potential. So much beauty, so much glory there, y'all. It's time to grow into our expansiveness. I hope this video resonated with you, and if it did, make sure to give me a like and let me know in the comments below how you are loving yourself back up to your true nature. Lastly, don't forget to follow your girl on the gram at Yoga by Biala and follow my online yoga school at iya.well. In the meantime, y'all, continue to be well, and I'll see you real soon.